Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Let's Do This. I hope you're really excited because today I have my first guest. It's Annelies Tjebbes, and let me tell you a little bit about why I asked her to come on the podcast. So, Annelies is the founder and CEO of Roots and Rivers. She brings over 15 years of experience in the social purpose sector, spanning social innovation, systems change, international development, and community development. Her journey into this work began in her training as a biomedical engineer, where she learned to lead interdisciplinary teams and manage complex design projects. She is incredible. Her organization is Roots and Rivers. And when I was looking at their website this morning, in fact, they've done 95 social purpose organizations that have been supported by Roots and Rivers. And she'll explain what that means when she comes on. And 137 effective solutions to complex community challenges have been created by Roots and Rivers. So I'm so excited to welcome Annalise.
Ah.
Hello. Hello. You just
The
like
great
arrived.
reveal.
You
Yeah,
arrived. How
come
are
from behind the
you?
curtain.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I'm doing all right. Really nice to connect with you. Thanks so much for having me as a guest today. I'm really excited.
Oh, it's an honor to have you here. And we got connected because we both attended a virtual event. Wasn't that right?
You're gonna have to refresh my memory as I
It
had a
was
kid a couple years ago and all of my memories are just gone. So tell me more. I forget.
I totally understand that. I believe it was SVI,
Oh yeah.
Social Venture Institute. I attended a virtual event, and Annalise was so like vibrant and welcoming, and like I have created this collective, and I said, "Wow, I want to connect with this woman." And then we started conversations, and among other things. So that's how we were connected.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for the refresher. It's fun when you get to know somebody that you're like, oh, I feel like we've known each other for a while and I don't even remember the origin story. So that makes it feel really natural for me. I love
Oh,
it.
amazing, amazing. So, Roots and Rivers. Yeah, tell us about, what is Roots and Rivers, first of all, and social purpose organizations, right? That's maybe something the listeners don't know what that is. Do you mind telling us a little bit about what is Roots and Rivers and what that means?
Yeah, thanks so much. Consulting gets a bad rep. It can be a bit of a dirty word. People see consultants as like, we're gonna, just go off into our corner and write a report and send it back to you and charge you a whole bunch of money. That's not us. We do have consulting in our title. It is kind of how we do our work in the sense that, we are an external party trying to support
Mhm.
organizations, but we really do it in a relational and connected and
Mhm.
integrated way. So
Mhm.
we call it social purpose, but basically any organization that does values aligned work or work that's supporting social change, community impact, we're there for it. We
Mhm.
call ourselves kind of trusted partners, so we want to really work
Mhm.
alongside organizations.
Mhm.
We can be that external voice or support that maybe sees things a little bit differently than if you're in the weeds all day long,
Mhm.
every day as
Right.
an organization. So we work with a lot of nonprofits and charities, but also increasingly working with different organizations in the social purpose space. So school districts, municipalities,
Mhm.
social enterprises.
Mhm.
Like I said, any folks doing really meaningful work, we're trying to help them do it more effectively,
Mhm.
trying to bring more clarity, alignment, direction,
Mhm.
rigor sometimes to organizations. I find
Yeah.
the social sector works with a lot of heart, and
Yeah.
we work alongside that heart. We're not trying to squash the heart, but we're also trying to
Yeah.
bring a little bit of that rigor and process to the work.
That is so cool. That is so cool.
Thanks.
Um,
Yeah, and you mentioned in the intro like the 95 or whatever organizations we worked with. I'm excited to share that as of today, it's 108. So we got to update
oh,
that website. Things fall through the cracks when you're busy.
I
But yeah, it
understand.
continues to grow this kind of
Amazing.
circle of
Mm.
organizations we've had the privilege to work with. And it really
Hmm.
does feel like long-term ongoing relationships that we want to keep maintaining because we really care about all of their work. So
Mm, that's so beautiful.
thanks.
And would you say when you're working with these organizations, do you typically have a formula? Like is it like strategic planning or is it custom per every 108 organization that you've worked with, every one of those?
Yeah, so we do have three service offerings, so strategic planning,
Hmm.
facilitation, and evaluation.
Hmm.
We do have our own codified methodologies for these
Hmm.
services. So after, doing 70 strategic plans over the years,
Yeah.
we figured out some ways that we really think we can do them well and we can support
Yeah.
organizations well, but we're not a cookie cutter organization. We're not going to
Hmm.
just say, great, we've done it here, with one school district even. We can't just carbon copy over to another one. There's
Yeah.
really nuanced differences,
Mm.
different communities that you're trying to engage in a process,
Mm.
different voices that or perspectives that you want to hear. And so we really do work with each organization to customize the
Hmm.
work. But yeah, we also create, repeatability in our processes
Totally.
by doing codification, creating
Mhm.
toolkits, things like that. So it's a bit of a combo deal.
I love that. And what is codification for those who don't know what that is?
Yeah, basically writing like process documents or
Um,
documenting things just such that it can be repeatable,
yeah.
and that other people can take the work on. So that's another interesting thing about Roots and Rivers is we have a staff team, but we also have an ecosystem of subcontractors,
Mm.
and they take on many chunks of the work that we do with our clients. We often bring them in for different professional or lived experience. And yeah, by having these methodologies captured, we can then pass on work to different folks.
Mhm.
Again, they're bringing their own flair, their own
Right.
um, methodologies and ideas, but we have something to build off of, and that's really valuable.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, no problem.
And you built this all on your own. Like walk us through this moment in time where you decided I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start a business. Like how long ago was this and what was your mindset back then?
Yeah, and my only correction is that I built this. I didn't build it all on my own. There has
Okay.
been so much love and
Hmm.
contribution from people, whether it's
Hmm.
mentors, my
Hmm.
family, my teammates, the ecosystem. It has really been a collective labor of love over the years. So just want to give a shout out to everybody that's been part of the journey along the way. And even clients give us really
Hmm.
rich feedback that helps us grow and improve
Hmm.
as well. So. But
Amazing.
yeah, basically, as you mentioned in the intro, I used to be an engineer. I worked designing medical technology and then also worked with Engineers Without Borders. And
Hmm.
that's where I really got
Wow.
connected to this kind of social purpose space,
Mhm.
working in international development
Wow.
and also leadership development,
Hmm.
and built a lot of skills around the strategy, the
Hmm.
facilitation, the evaluation. And loved that work, but burnt myself out pretty hard in that work. So
Mm.
found that diving deep into one organization and just giving
Hmm.
my heart and soul
Hmm.
was a lot. And so,
Hmm.
I know you sent a couple questions in advance saying, you want to talk about balance, and I've become a big champion of balance
Hmm.
in the work life because I wasn't living that previously, and yeah,
Right.
it's been a journey to get there, but
Yeah.
basically left Engineers Without Borders and was really keen to just kind of lift my head up and go, like, what other organizations are doing meaningful work? How could I contribute in interesting ways? And kept hearing about organizations that had just gotten funding or,
Hmm.
were working on a project and kind of getting
Hmm.
stuck, weren't
Hmm.
sure how to tell the story of their work.
Yeah.
And I called myself a Juanita of all trades. It was like, sure, I could try and help with that. Um,
Yeah.
and just started pitching in. And after a little bit, looked at myself, kind of went, am I a consultant? Is this consulting? And so it wasn't really an intentional
Hmm.
pursuit to build out a consultancy, but noticing that this way of kind of working
Hmm.
alongside people and jumping in where they maybe didn't have
Yeah.
capacity or skills or whatever it may
Yeah.
be really resonated for me. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I was really loving that kind of approach. And then
Hmm.
over time realized like, oh, wow, there's a lot of work here. There's a lot of
Yeah.
support that's needed. And
Mhm.
maybe I can bring others into this. So I really love
Wow.
working in teams and collaborating. And I found that I was missing that as a solopreneur. And
Hmm.
so started bringing in people to do, just little piecemeal chunks of work. And over time, this ecosystem model has really flourished, because people get to also work on projects they wouldn't have had the opportunity to work on,
Mm.
collaborate with other people when they too are working solo and feeling a little lonely in that journey.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. over the years has just kind of grown and evolved, and we've gotten really amazing referrals from the
Mm-hmm.
clients that we've connected
Mm-hmm.
with, and
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of built out, yeah, this robust kind of group of clients and partners that we work with.
Cool.
Um, and yeah, again, the team has grown. So we're a team of 4 full-time staff and about 40 subcontractors. And then on
Wow.
top of that, about 100 people in this ecosystem of
Wow.
community of practice. And so it keeps growing and evolving as we go.
That is so cool. I love the story of like I just started taking on projects and then there was more projects and then I wanted to collaborate. So I just gave people like little pieces and then those little pieces became bigger pieces and now you're an ecosystem of 100. Um, Walk me through like when you first made that choice, and it sounds maybe like it just happened naturally. Did you feel like there was an element of risk involved? Like a lot of people speak about going from, that kind of more structured salary type system to like now being a business owner. You have
Mhm.
so much unpredictability. And I felt this way certainly in how much income you're having, especially at the start before you can start to, level out. How was that at the start for you, or even now?
Yeah, and I'm just going to close my blinds because I'm getting blasted by the beautiful sun. So just
Oh, good. Oh, it's sunny there. Lucky. In Pemberton, it is pouring rain. Like my kids wore, I think, two different like layers on the bottom, on the top, and their rain jackets and hats and everything. It's certainly November. So I'm glad you're getting some sun.
all right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
All good.
Um, yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, being an entrepreneur is risky. It's
Mhm.
full on. It's a constant evolution and journey. And yeah, it certainly was. A daunting moment at the beginning.
Mhm.
Um, I come from a privileged position of having family that could support me if things went sideways. So I do want to just name that that
Mhm.
some other folks don't have that
Yeah.
cushion or backstop,
Mhm.
and so I, knew in
Mhm.
the back of my mind if things went really south
Mhm.
that I'd have that support.
Yeah.
I also was really lucky in the beginning to get a number of people actually pass projects to me. So I had somebody who was starting to wind down her consulting work, and she was passing things off to me that
Mhm.
she, didn't have the capacity or energy for. I also had a consultant friend who got a full-time job and was also similarly passing things off to me.
Mhm.
So that definitely got the ball rolling a little bit more.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, there were moments where, I had to ask my roommate to cover rent one month because I hadn't figured out cash flow yet and
Right.
thought
Yeah.
I was getting a payment for a big project and it didn't come through in time. And so there's definitely tricky moments like that. And
Mhm.
entrepreneurship really, it's
Mhm.
so multifaceted. You've got to
Yes.
be the HR, the finance, the all of the
Yeah.
pieces. And I'm lucky now that I have both a team as well as
Mhm.
service providers that support
Mhm.
with some of those pieces, so I could take
Amazing.
some of the weight off of my
Yeah.
shoulders. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to underplay the
Hmm.
intensity and pressure of growing a business. And I had a
Totally.
mentor early on who said to me, "It seems like you're really enjoying this."
Hmm.
And maybe instead of every week, every month going, should I do this or should I get a full-time job? Like, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
Is this a real career? She said, give it 3 years. She said, just give
Hmm.
it a try. Don't
Yeah.
don't waffle every week. That's
Yeah.
throwing you off. And
Interesting.
after 3 years, you'll really get a sense of, do I
Mm.
have a viable business idea here? Can I make the money work? Am I enjoying this? All of that. And that was
Hmm.
so valuable. And after the 3 years, like it really solidified things. So that was,
Hmm.
yeah, 8 years ago when I first started consulting. And
Wow.
the three
That
years seems like a million years ago.
Wow. That is such good advice because everything you said I relate to. I'm still a solopreneur. I actually just hired my first person in admin,
Oh,
which is
congrats.
whoop whoop, very excited. But that's I guess the thing I didn't expect is how regulating it is not having the stability of income. I realize I have a high risk tolerance, so I kind
Hmm.
of jumped in with 2 feet with 2 young kids. Like maybe that was a little bit crazy, but I was like, I'll probably figure it out, and if not, I'll go get a job. And
Hmm.
then when I started to love the work, that was what was driving me, and I was so passionate. I was like, I have to keep going and keep going. And then, as you said, I've had plenty of times now where contracts just fall through, or most recently, I had a company switch over like leadership, and they asked for a refund. I'm like. They're like, we love you. We love the work. We want to continue, but we just don't have the cash flow right now. And I was like,
Oh
okay.
boy.
You signed a contract, first of all. I respectfully. And these are all like new things you navigate as an entrepreneur. It's like, okay, I don't have that consistency and stability. So how do I find that like within myself? Is a
Oh,
big
totally.
question, right? That's like a big question. I love your mentor said give it 3 years because it stops you from thinking that immediate moment of like panic, panic, panic to like, okay, what is the big picture? I'm going to stick it out for 3 years. And as they said, I love that. Like, do you like it? Do you actually like it? Do you find joy in this work? And if so, is it viable for you to continue to do this amazing work and keep yourself feeling stable and calm in all the pieces?
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and I'm in a mastermind with a bunch of different business owners, and like the journey doesn't stop. Some people have been in
Totally.
business for 20 years and they're going, okay,
Yeah.
where are we now? And are we still doing this? And what makes sense? And so, yeah, I don't know that as an entrepreneur you ever get to this like everything's groovy and, I can just clock in and out.
Yeah.
I don't think it's really like that, but I have found over the years ways to set boundaries, find
Mhm.
calm, like
Yeah.
not overburden myself, and
Mhm.
that's been really key to my journey, I think.
Mm. I love that. So let's talk about that is like finding that balance. I heard you say set boundaries, find your calm. You're also a mom. So you're a mom, you have 100 collaborators, you've been in business for 8 years. Like, how do you balance this all?
Yeah, on good days well, and on bad days not so well. So
So relatable.
yeah. But I think there's a couple of factors. So one, actually doing having that burnout when I worked in the nonprofit space,
Hmm.
I think was my big wake up call of like
Hmm.
at that time I was working 80-hour work weeks and feeling like that's just what you do. That's,
Hmm.
if you care about the work and why would I work 40 hours if I could work
Hmm.
80 and accomplish more?
Right.
I was living in Toronto. I found that culture also kind of
Yeah.
like played to that side of me of real ambition and drive. So having had that experience, I then started working with a therapist and really learned about boundaries. Figured out how can my identity be less tied up in my work and things like that. And so
Hmm.
that growth was really supportive for me. And I think some of the tools I built there, I really continue to use.
Hmm.
I also went on maternity leave for 8 months fully offline, didn't check an email, didn't have a call, and then 4 months to kind of transition back in. So that journey too of before then, building out all the systems, tools, handing things off, letting go, so that I could really be fully present to my new job of becoming a mom.
Hmm.
And I think that all of that of setting up the team and the systems and the processes well, and also realizing like I don't want to be the center of everything and all the decisions. I want to empower others and let go.
Hmm.
And hats off to my teammates Haley and Janani who were holding down the fort, and Haley in particular, who stepped into the interim director role to let me have that space. And I
Wow.
think since then, coming back, I've let them and others that we work with have
Yeah.
the leadership, have the final
Hmm.
decisions. I'm not feeling that I need to be the sole, as I said when I kind of challenged you on that, you've built this by yourself. Like I really truly feel like it has been a
Hmm.
collective build, and that we're in this together as a team. And
Hmm.
you know, I also at 4:30 I go pick my kid up from daycare, and that's a really great
Hmm.
structure that helps me
Yeah.
create that balance too of being
Hmm.
able to then focus on family
Yeah.
and myself and whatever else
Yeah.
I've got going on.
Yeah. I love that. And what you said really resonated with me. So what you said really resonated with me. You said that through counseling that you found out that your identity was less tied up in work. And that really resonated with me. And it's what I help a lot of my clients with because I feel like a lot of us, and myself included, operate in the world like we are our business or we are our career. And it also took me going on mat leave to like have to rewire that. And it was so bizarre because I was working in corporate, stopped working to be a mom, and I struggled because I found my purpose and my identity were so tied up in my career. When I didn't have that, it was so bizarre to me. And it took a full 12 months and therapy and counseling and finding coaching to realize like, oh, I can find myself, my value, my worth, and just who I am and what I'm passionate about. So
Hmm.
yeah, so what you said totally resonated with me. And I love how you also said that when you had that time off with your daughter, is that right?
Son.
Son, I'm so sorry. What's his
No
name again?
worries. Orson.
Orson.
Name's Little Bear.
Oh my gosh, so cute. So when you had Orson, you said you had some time off when you were pregnant and then some time off when he was a baby, and that's when you allowed your team to lead. I think you said like, yeah, you let people lead. You delegated, which
Mhm.
I find is a big struggle for entrepreneurs is to trust people with this like almost baby, with this work baby you've built. How was that for you?
Yeah, and hats off again to another mentor who in my journey said, "Hey, if you're thinking of ever having kids and you're running your own business, why don't you try taking a month off and seeing like what breaks, how can you
Yeah.
delegate before that?" And so I
Mm-hmm.
did. I took a month off about a year before I had a kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really important to then see, okay, nothing did break. Little
Right.
things were missed, but now I
Yeah.
know how to set things up better or differently,
Yeah.
or and also little things being missed, like it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that really helped set me up. And,
Yeah.
my team is just so competent and
Mm-hmm.
capable that it's sometimes me letting them lead and also just them stepping up into leadership and taking that on. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I really feel sad for the entrepreneurs of the world who are like, I can't even take a weekend off. I'm
Mm-hmm.
constantly grinding and, I feel for them and I also challenge them to say, hey, like
Mm-hmm.
I not that I don't think you're doing it right, but like a little bit of like what's going on
Mm-hmm.
here? There is it a trust issue? Is it a
Mm-hmm.
delegation issue? Is it a protection issue? Whatever it may be. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so rich when companies can become more than just the founder and can really
Mm-hmm.
be supported by this strong collective and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and where the founder can see the brilliance of others and
Mm-hmm.
let them run the show. And
Mm-hmm.
I Roots and Rivers has taken so many different unique turns as a result, and things that I wouldn't have done, but now
Right.
that my team has encouraged or stepped into doing things differently than I would, I'm really embracing that and celebrating that and learning from that, and that's been really
Mhm.
amazing.
I love that. And that was some serious wisdom you just dropped. Like, if you're an entrepreneur or founder that has to work weekends or thinks everything's going to fall apart, I feel like you were speaking directly to me. I challenge you. That is such a powerful message. Like, I challenge you. Is it a trust issue, a delegation issue? I wrote this down, or a protection issue? And what a
Mm.
beautiful piece of wisdom for anyone listening. If you find yourself in that place or worried about becoming an entrepreneur, or you already are, it's like, it really takes you looking at yourself, doesn't it? Like, this is what I've learned about being a business owner. It's like hyperspeed personal growth, like all your
Totally.
patterns that aren't supportive, all the ways you block yourself, and it just kind of shoots past it. It's like, are you going to grow from this so you can move
Mm.
forward, or are you going to stay stuck in this
Yeah.
thing and just and then not go anywhere? So thank you for that.
Yeah. And I will say, I'm human too. I have
Yeah.
weekends where I'm facilitating
Yeah.
something or evenings where I'm doing final
Yeah.
prep for something. So
Totally.
I'm not saying I've got it all figured out. But yeah, I really do try to have these practices consistently of making that separation and finding joy in cooking or
Mm.
riding my bike or spending time with my kiddo or friends. And that's so important to me.
That's beautiful. I think that's the solution to life is just finding joy in these
Mm.
simple moments. But when you're caught up in something, like, how dare I go on a walk and look at the pretty leaves, or how dare I stop and play Lego? But for me, whenever I just stop and do it, even for 5 minutes, it makes all the difference. And my perspective, that's why we're all here.
Totally. And I came back to work after my maternity leave with like different ideas and different energy. And that was
Yeah.
really neat to show that
Hmm.
this different perspective and way of
Hmm.
approaching things while I was away also
Yeah.
refreshed me and gave me, I mean, refresh me. Let's be real. Having a toddler doesn't refresh you, or having a baby doesn't refresh you. But to the work, I came with like a different
Yeah.
light and different energy. So. Mhm.
100%. Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's go a little bit to the future. So my last set of questions around like what are you building to? Or like what's the future of Rivers and Roots like in your mind? And what about you personally?
Yeah, Roots and Rivers is an exciting moment because we're just about to launch our own new strategic plan, where
Oh.
we're really framing things as kind of from and to
Mhm.
journeys. So,
Mhm.
talking about going from, regional roots to national impact. So, we're born and bred in BC and have a lot of client base and connections here, but we want
Yeah.
to have a broader impact. And one of my
Mhm.
teammates just moved to Halifax, one teammate lives in Ontario, and so we
Right.
really are coast to coast, not coast to coast to coast yet, but yeah, really
Hmm.
excited to contribute more at this national scale. We're also noticing that we want to play a bigger role in kind of sector leadership. So we want the
Cool.
social purpose sector to be strong and resilient
Mm.
and appreciated and recognized for the
Mhm.
huge contribution it brings to society. And
Mhm.
so we want to play a bigger role in
Mhm.
advocating for that, building the financial resilience of that,
Mhm.
supporting increased like integration and collaboration and learning in the
Yeah.
sector. So that sector level is something we're really excited to contribute to.
Cool.
And building out this ecosystem model as well, where, again, we'd love to have coast to coast to coast representation around
Yeah.
that community and folks that are really embedded locally, but can
Mhm.
contribute nationally as well.
That's
And yeah, just
beautiful.
also continuing to support the resilience of our own organization. I'm doing a lot of learning about inclusive leadership and
Mhm.
neuro-affirming workplaces and really wanting to make sure that people can feel well at work at Roots and
Mhm.
Rivers,
Mhm.
and challenging broken corporate
Mhm.
or organizational
Mhm.
structures that aren't serving people. As
Mhm.
companies around the world are forcing people back to work
Yeah.
in offices, we're saying, hey, we're remote first.
Yeah.
That's really supportive for neurodivergence. It's really
Mhm.
supportive for people with kids, all sorts of
Yeah.
things. And we have the trust and rapport with our team to know, like, we don't
Mhm.
need to be managing you by looking over your shoulder at your desk. And
Right.
so, yeah, we're really trying to do things differently as a business
Mhm.
as well. And that's been a contribution that I think has been really unique in our work that I
Mhm.
hadn't anticipated as well. Is just how can we challenge what it means to be a business? Because again, I
Yeah.
said consulting is a dirty word at the beginning. Business also gets sometimes seen
Mm.
in this negative light, and I think business can be a force for good. And I'm excited to be part of
Mhm.
that movement.
Oh, so incredible. So incredible. Last question, with all everything you've shared and just reflecting on your journey, what would you say is your biggest lesson? And that what wisdom would you love to impart on others?
It's all about the people. Yeah,
Mm.
I like I said, couldn't have done this without this work of my team,
Mm.
the support of mentors, we applied to one project that we got turned down from, but the woman who was on the other end of the application believed so much in us that she actually reached out and said, "Hey, I'd love to give you some mentorship on how you could be a better candidate to
Mhm.
apply for this kind of project in the future." And just like
Wow.
people
Mhm.
have
Mhm.
invested in me and invested in Roots and Rivers in so many
Mhm.
beautiful ways, and I try to do the same in return.
Mhm.
And I just, you know, feel so lucky to have such beautiful relationships that have strengthened me as a leader, strengthened my
Mhm.
business, and continue to help like challenge me and support
Mhm.
me to grow.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That really hit home when you said it's about the people. It's
Mm,
about the people. No matter
hmm.
what you're doing or who you are, it's about your connections, how you show up for them, and the impact you make every day.
Totally. Yeah, it's funny. My husband works as an environmental engineer, and he's like, "You take care of the people, I'll take care of the planet, and together we'll be all good." Like, I love
We are, yes.
it.
Collectively together, we'll solve all of Earth's problems and
Exactly.
humanity.
Yeah.
No problem. Done.
Totally.
Well, thank you so much for having a chat with me today. It's been an
Yeah,
honor to
you
have
too.
you on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks so much. And I'm excited to keep the conversation going. And thanks for
Oh,
all the work that you do too. It's really admirable.
oh, thank you. And I'll see you soon.
Sounds good. Take care.
Okay, bye.